this is a Wilson trimmer on a Sinclair base. The Wilson part is this. All the rest of this you get from Brownells.
Order L.E. Wilson. That's where I got mine.
But you didn't get your base and stuff with it, did you?
Yeah.
Did
well, this piece didn't. It just come with this.
Right.
So you said, what is that you have?
It's a Sinclair. It's a Wilson trimmer.
L.E. Wilson.
And I'm
But
sure
again,
that's what you told me to get.
If I was you, I'd just get the whole kit, but do whatever you want to do. Okay. All right. Now.
And a Sinclair base, is that what you said?
This whole thing. In other words, this part, everything that's stainless steel right here, that is the trimmer. This bolts onto that. All of this stuff is a package that Brownells put together. All right, so now you realize these are shell holders, a different kind of shell holder than those shell holders over there. And this one says L.E. Wilson 30 or 3338 Lapua. So take a piece of brass and just see how it fits through there. And that fits nearly perfect. You know, and I forgot to mention this on another video. So there's a groove right here. The groove goes toward the adjustment side. Like this. Alright. Actually, I should say the groove goes to the base of the case. And so, you see how big a gap there is right there? So we have to back that off. Still touching. And all I want to do is just trim them a little bit. In other words, uniform them. I don't want to cut a bunch of brass off because they're already where they need to be, right? So, again, you can't see it, but between the case mouth and the cutter, there's a gap right now. So I'm going to push it back in just until it touches. There, so see, it grabbed it, right? And that, I'll go ahead and take a cut, but it's not really going to do anything. I mean, it just barely skimmed it, right? So we're going to go take a little bit more. You could hear it. Even I could hear it, and I'm deaf. Okay, so we're at 2712, and again, the idea is just to get them uniform. The idea, we do not need to remove a lot of brass. So I'm gonna lock this down again. Don't lock it down too tight. It mashes the threads. And that's why it's so hard to turn. It's kind of an imperfect system.
Now, did you pick out randomly, just pick one, or did you pick one of the shorter ones?
Right, and if you're, I just reached over and grabbed one, but yes, the proper protocol is to measure all 50 pieces. And in fact, if you're in a box of 100, measure all 100, pick out the shortest cartridge, as long as it's not a huge anomaly. Pick out the shortest cartridge, trim them all to the shortest one. But all we're doing here is I just reached over and grabbed one. So again, this right now it's measuring, this is one of the longer ones. Right now it's measuring 2/7/17. You see, it took quite a bit off of that. You saw the chips fly off where it barely touched that other one. Again, the idea is just uniformity. That's all we want. We want them all to be the same. Okay, and so that's one of the reasons why I really do like this setup. It takes a lot of time and stuff, but I mean, look, 2/7/12. I mean, not even a half a thou off. And it's really, of course, I just said that, there it is. It's a good idea to check every single one. I mean, I'm always obsessive about everything, but I sit here and check every one. because that way every now and then you'll have to get one and you go back. I mean, you get them all to the exact same number, it's going to help on the target. A lot of people wouldn't believe that, but I'm telling you it is. If you have a gun that'll shoot down in the 1/10 inch range. 2, 7, 12. So you know what? You guys can sit here and do this. You gonna do this?
I
You
can
wanna
do
do the
it.
trimming? Okay, same deal. You put, just as long as you measure them, doesn't matter what you do. All that matters is they end up being the same. All right, and Brian, really seriously, don't get that graphite on the stuff because it does not come off.
Okay.
Did you know that every night before he goes to bed, the boogeyman checks under his bed for Chuck Norris?
You're a big Chuck Norris fan, aren't you?
No, not really.
Not really?
Are you measuring every one of them?
I wasn't. You want me to?
Measure every one. I just saw how you did that, and I guarantee you those last two are not going to be the same. You can't measure it out on the end like that either. Let me have that. No, this is very important because see, all I did was see him do it. So the one that he thought that he just did is measuring about, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and call it 217. 2717. So this is important now because you can learn something here. So look, so the one right before it was 212 and a half. These are the ones he did. And the one right before it was 216 and a half. And the one right before it was 216 and a half. And the one right before it is 216 and a half. $217. And mine is 2712. 2712. Watch. 2712.
So what did I do wrong?
$2,712. What you did wrong was the way that you put it in, the way the here, let me sit down there. So just hold on a minute there, Brad, until so they can actually get this. Okay, so I did these first three, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Put that in there. Look. You gotta do everything exactly the same every time. So you grab it, pull it to the rear, I push my thumb onto it, I hold it back tight. As I grab it here and I swing they call that the shark fin, and then I hold it like that. Did you see how much it just cut off of it? I mean, I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on that. The idea is that so there's no slop in the system. In other words, that's the only way you get the same exact measurement each and every time. 2712. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to, here, let's go back through and just leave it out of the thing. There. You hear it?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be careful when you're doing all this stuff that you're actually making progress. In other words, that you're helping yourself and not hurting yourself. Because that brass, the way it came out of the box, was more uniform than what you were just doing. And I realize you've never done this before, so it's no condemnation. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You're either making it better or you're making it worse. And you want to make sure that you're making it better. Because the stuff that comes out of the box is pretty darn good. Again, we're doing all this work, but you have to understand that we're doing all this work for extreme levels of accuracy. Not if you just loaded it, it would shoot pretty darn good. Okay, and I realize I'm using like all these nebulous terms, but if you want to shoot 2 inches or less at 800 yards, 3 or 5 shot groups, you have to do all this stuff. If you want to shoot 4 inches at 800 yards, you don't have to do it all. This is a ton of work. You know, and it's also, you have to question, is it worth it to you? Okay, but I want all the bullets to go through the exact same hole at any distance. I mean, I know that sounds bizarre, but that's what I want. I mean, when we take guys out and say they're shooting 1/2 inch or less groups at 400 yards, I am impressed. That's at the point where, you know, I'm like, okay, everything's right. Even 1 inch groups at 400, 3-shot groups do not impress me that much. 5-shot groups, 1 inch, yeah, it's okay. You get to 1/2 inch, and there may be another fella coming, a local guy. He has bought, I should actually stop and tell you this. It's funny, he's not here right now. I'd rather tell it while he's here. But there's this fella, his name's Jeff. We won't say his last name right now because I don't know if he wants me to. But I built him our medium weight gun. Our medium weight gun, it was actually a little bit on the heavier side. Not our heavy gun, but not halfway between the middleweight gun and the heavyweight gun. And it was in 300 Winchester. 300 Winchester. And we shot Berger 210s out of it. And he came here. He lives 65, 70 miles away. And he came here to shoot it. And honest to gosh, of course, I already shot the gun before he gets here. I shoot all the guns first. And it was an honest to gosh sub 1/2 inch gun at 400 yards. And I mean pretty easily. You'd sit down, you fire 3 shots, you could hardly tell that you fired 3 shots. It would just be a little clover leaf at 400 yards. At 100, they just went through the exact same hole. All right, so he came down, he shot it, and he actually was shooting better than I do. And by the way, that's something that I should stop to point out. The older I get, the more that I've fired, you know, I fired millions of rounds, maybe, million. It gets harder and harder for me to shoot small groups, right? So anyways, he's a younger guy. He came down, he shot it, and I mean, he shot small groups. We have photos. There's photos of him on the website. And so he took the gun, and he's totally happy, you know, happy as can possibly be. He takes it hunting all around and stuff, shoots a bunch of stuff with it, and then he decides, oh, it's too heavy. It's too heavy. So he calls me up, and he says, I want to build another one. And I said, what are you going to do with the one you got? He said, I'm going to sell it. I said, Jeff, you don't sell a gun like that. I said, you don't sell. No, he said, I want a lighter one. I said, I can't guarantee you're going to get a gun that'll shoot 1/2 inch at 400 yards the second time, right? No, he said, you can do it. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, really? I just think this don't seem too smart to me, right? So anyways, he sells the other gun. Now, as a backstory, so I suddenly start getting photos from this other fella who I believe lives in Texas, and he's like, I have the most amazing gun you can possibly believe, and you build it. And I'm like, now wait a second. Oh, that's the gun you bought off of Jeff. Yes, this thing's amazing, right? And there's a picture of him on the website with a big, what are those, Barbary sheep in Texas. You know what I'm talking about? The sheep that are wild sheep, right?
There, yeah.
Right, exactly. So, big one. And so he has that gun. So in the meantime, I'm building Jeff the second gun, lighter, right? Lighter contour barrel, lighter, the whole deal. The gun's going to be like 1.5 pounds lighter than the other one. And I'm like, this is not a good idea. You have that good of a gun, you never give it up. So anyways, we build it, we take it out, and I'm like, it shoots better. It shoots better. And I'm like, that's impossible. All right, it shoots better. So anyways, he comes down. He thinks this is normal, right? He thinks this is like totally normal. It's like, hey, I was walking down the street and I just found a bucket of gold on the corner. and I'm going back tomorrow and there's going to be another one laying there, right? No, that's not the way it works. He comes down, he shoots, he's on the website again, sub half-inch groups at 400 yards. Again, so what does that really mean? Were the guns built awesome? Yes, they were. But I'm not taking credit for that. What it means is he got 2. Those were both Krieger barrels, by the way. He got 2 awesome barrels. That's what it is. He got 2 awesome barrels. They both set up 300 Winchester, both to shoot Berger 210s, which again, we're giving acknowledgement to Berger. Those Berger 210s, they have held the 1,000-yard world record twice, I believe, both in 300 WSM, 2 different men, 2 different guns. So those Berger 210s in 30 caliber as a big bullet, I mean, they are extremely accurate. All right, so back to what we're doing. And he may be here, by the way. He wants to come down and learn more reloading. All I was just talking about. Did I do this one? No. Okay, so you see everyone is coming out dead on. 2, 7, 12. These 3 should be already, because we already did this. 2, 7, 12. 2, 7, 12. Okay, so we're good. So here's the thing. When you're starting to learn to do this, measure every one. And because I am like so obsessive type person, I measure every one anyways. Because it's just for peace of mind. Then you know they're all exactly the same. So measure every one. And here's something too. You realize, I mean, I work in a machine shop, but measuring is a skill in itself, right? Because it's the way you hold your calipers, it's the way that you put your piece you're measuring in, and it's the way you get it to actually be square. Like you have to have a light touch, right? Because you realize if you put that in there crooked, I mean, you can get any darn number you want, right? The deal is to get the true number, or as close as you can get it, right? And you put your thumb on the thumb wheel, and I put just light pressure on that, because you realize if you squeeze it, see, I can shave a half a thou right there. So it's part of its consistency in your measuring technique also. All right, there you go. I'm gonna go wash my hands.
We'll do about half of these, and I'd like to switch with you and
Okay.
do half of those.
I'm tired. Did you get a shower yet? I know you need to be quiet. Okay, I'm just
One thing driving me nuts is this table with this laminate coming off of it. I cannot stand that. It's driving me nuts. I'm trying to tap these off, and it's shaking the bottle of graphite. Scott, I was just telling him, I'm pretty anal about getting everything perfect. I don't think I'm as bad as you, but this tabletop with this laminate kind of bubbled up.
Oh no, that thing's a piece of crap.
It's driving me nuts.
Yeah, no, it's junk. The deal is we're trying to get to the new shop, and I just hate to keep replacing things whenever I know I don't even want to be here. You understand?
Right.
I have like that press you're using. That's my old original rock chucker. There you go. But I don't know. I got like 4 presses, and I've got double and triples of almost everything. The idea is when we get to the new place to put in a table that's like 20 feet long or 30 feet long and have stations.
That'd be
for
awesome.
everybody, right? So
That'd
you can
be
just
awesome.
move from station to station and learn each and every step as you go. But as far as being real precise about everything, it's a blessing and a curse. Because it's a blessing because you can get everything right, but it takes so much time to get everything right. And again, it's part of the curse of building guns properly. You're going to have to put all that time in it. Well, It's not economically feasible. That's the deal. By the way, did you know Jesus follows Chuck Norris on Twitter?
Where you get all these Chuck Norris jokes?
What do you mean? I pull them out of my butt.
Can you put that brass in there any deeper? I mean, because if you did, that would obviously...
No, it wouldn't, because the brass itself is the
It's still the
determining
same
factor.
length.
Right.
Okay.
That's just a hold.
Okay.
But again, that trimmer, the way it's set up, you can get to 1 thou easily, which that's pretty darn good. People don't realize a piece of paper, a normal piece of writing paper, is 3 thousandths thick. So when you start dealing with 1 thou of an inch, you think about an inch. You take an inch, you divide it into 1,000 parts. That's pretty small. But now here it was. So you want me to really blow your mind. So when you're chambering a gun, or when you're doing any machine work, I try to go to 2 10,000ths. So now think about it in your mind. You take 1 inch and you divide it into 10,000 equal parts. And then you try to stay within 2 of those. If you can do that, and if you do all your procedures properly, and if you have a good barrel, the gun will shoot.
You got some of that graphite right there. You got
Pardon me?
graphite on you.
I got graphite on my
Yeah,
face.
on the
I'll
other
go
side.
wipe it off. Thanks.
I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not much.
It's kind of weird, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You got it locked in now, coming out with what he was?
He's got it a lot closer, I guarantee you that.
You guys, there's Tic Tacs and mints and stuff up there if you want them. Anything you want. You want water, you want food, just let us know.
We got a low battery, Scott.
Tell me when it's getting near dead.
It's near dead.
All right, well then shut it off.